So I'm kind of getting this image of the body politic like this enormous Weeble. Do you remember Weebles? They
No.
were they were like these things that were very weighted at the bottom, and you could push them, and they would go back and forth, but it seemed like the farther they go over, the
Yeah.
stronger there is a force to pull them back to center. And I feel like, and especially what we've seen recently since we've spoken, is both sides have bifurcated maybe more, because I feel like I've heard the calmer minds of both sides try to maybe exert that pulling back to center, and the more vociferous, more intensely emotional sides on both sides kind of trying to push it both ways. So and is that the genius of our system, or is it its downfall?
That's very interesting. I think it is very much a genius because what usually happens is somebody gets elected off to office and they think that they have a mandate from the American people. So they propose something that then becomes relatively unpopular. And then the party lands up losing. And recent examples of that would be Ronald Reagan came in 1980 and he ran on basically saying that he was going to balance the federal budget and he was going to cut taxes. So he cut taxes the first year and then the deficit rose consequently in 1982 the Republicans lost 26 seats in the United States House of Representatives. Another example would be Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton came in 1993 on a mandate partly to raise taxes on the wealthier Americans. There was a backlash against that. He also proposed healthcare reform and put Hillary in charge of it. There was a backlash against that. If you remember the Harry and Louise ads. And as a result, the Democrats lost about 53 seats in the House. Basically, the first time in 40 years that the Democrats no longer held the House of Representatives. Obama, 2008, comes in, mandate partly on healthcare, proposes the healthcare legislation. It becomes demonstrably unpopular. The party loses 63 seats. And then George W. Bush, in his first 2 years, he was actually pretty popular because at the time, believe it or not, both Afghanistan and Iraq were very popular. But in his second term, he proposed that he's going to try to reform and partially privatize Social Security. There's a backlash against that. And the first time in 12 years, Republicans end up losing seats. Donald Trump, you can keep going, loses 40 seats in after his first midterm election. So this is almost invariably happens that the party in power overreaches, and then when they land up overreaching, there is a revolt, if you will, at the ballot box.
So we can't really blame the public for experiencing vertigo or whiplash or something like that.